Hello, if you want to watch exclusive lemon content on What If Naruto, then go to my Boosty. The first link in the description here contains such hot stories for adults, such as what if Naruto was a daddy for Sarada, or Kushina and Mikoto vulgar Naruto mommies. Follow the link and enjoy. I'm waiting for you.
She was upside down with her eyes closed. She threw kunai that collided with each other, hitting all the targets, and one brushing the Naruto's cheek, causing a small cut to come out. The kunai was nailed to a tree. The girl landed on her feet and looked at the blue Oji. The blonde blushed. "Who are you?" asked the girl in a monotonous tone, examining the blonde with her gaze. She had recognized him immediately. He was the Jinchuriki of the Kibit. Naruto Uzumaki. He responded with some fear and nervousness at the black movie's gaze. "Itami Uchiha." The girl replied in a monotone tone. Noticing how the small cut on Naruto's cheek had disappeared, he assumed it was because of the Kibit chakra. "Naruto, nice to meet you, take care." "And Tami, the pleasure is mine, Naruto." He was identical to the fourth Oga, who was the son of Minato Namikaze and Kushina Uzumaki. His mother was the best friend of Kushina Uzumaki, who died in the Kibit attack 5 years ago, and now she finally knew Naruto. "And Tami, what are you doing in the Forest of Death?" "Naruto was on his way to Ishirakuruman, but the villagers chased me, and I went into the Forest of Death to lose him if it worked. But now I'm losing Datebao." Itami knew how hard the life of a Jinchuriki was, to be hated for something you didn't want, because you weren't to blame for it. But that's the way the world was. Shinobi little Naruto was only seen as a monster or demon or a weapon just because he had a biju sealed inside. And not just any biju, to the most powerful of all the Kibi. "Naruto, how did you do the above? You could train me." Finally, Itami Uchiha was someone cold and distant, but there was something she couldn't say. That no to the legendary kawaii puppy dog eyes jutsu. Sasuke always used it on her when she wanted something. And no matter how hard she tried to resist, she always fell. "Itami is fine." "Naruto, thank you." The Uzumaki ran to her and hugged her tightly. Itami was surprised and returned the hug, stroking his hair as if he were his younger brother. From now on she would be the big sister figure. She would guide Naruto. Uzumaki would make him a great shinobi for his mother, for Minato, and Kushina something inside her. He told her that Naruto was going to be a great shinobi, and she would be in charge of making him a great shinobi. And Tami Uchiha was sitting on a rock waiting for Naruto. He had agreed to be her sensei. I was curious. Naruto was a very imperative and very unruly child. I didn't know why, but there was something about that blue-eyed boy that caught his eye, and he wanted to know what. "Itami, you're late," he said in a monotone, looking at Uzumaki in the form of reproach. He didn't have time to waste his job, as Ambu took up a lot of his time. Luckily it was a simple clone, just like the clone who was playing with Sasuke. "Naruto, I'm sorry." He said this one with the heaving of his breath firm so much. Running they were in the Forest of Death. Naruto was ready for his training. "Itami, your training just doubled. That will teach you not to be late." The blonde was about to protest, but he fell. He didn't want to increase his training. "Itami, for a child, your physical ability. Physics is fine, it must be so much running away from the villagers. Okay, first of all, I want you to do 200 push-ups, 100 sit-ups, 200 squats, and 20 laps around the forest." Naruto to Itami-sensei. Naruto swallowed hard and began to do as the Uchiha ordered him. She was watching with a small smile. Al Rubio wanted to see how far he could go. Naruto was surprised to see that, despite being tired, he didn't give up until he finished his training. When he finished, he fell to the ground exhausted with labored breathing. And also interesting, has a great determination. The next day, Naruto arrived at 5 a.m. as his S. I had ordered him. "Itami Naruto, your training regimen is 200 push-ups, 200 squats, 200 sit-ups, 10 laps around the forest. And then we'll start with your chakra control and see your affinity bar is chakra." Naruto at first started with his physical training, then he was going to do it. With heavy weights he was gradually advancing in his training, and Tami taught him chakra control, climbing a tree. Naruto's affinity was wind, and Tami tunes interesting wind. He observed the black movie looking at Naruto, who was excited to learn jutsus. She possessed the elements fire, wind and water. Apart from the other jutsus that he has copied throughout his missions, they were first starting with something basic by polishing his chakra. He had to concentrate his chakra to cut the blade into afternoon or 3 days. In doing so, the following were the basic jutsu and the shadow multi-clone jutsu. I had a lot of chakra, thank you to the Kibit, and that in the future would be of great help to him. Then he went on to teach him basic taijutsu and gave him the crow's contract. And Tami Shisui, get out of there. An Ambo with a tiger mask appeared, the one named. She took off her mask to look at her best friend. Shisui, you're a student. If I don't see it, I don't believe it. Itami, well, Naruto is someone interesting. Despite everything he suffers because of Konoha, he wishes to protect everyone and be Ogake. Shisui, he is the Hinkariki of the Kibit. That's interesting. I wonder what you will say to Suke, that instead of playing with him, you spend your time training Naruto. Itami, mom and dad are helping him in his workouts. But not Naruto. He has no one. Shisui, I understand you, friend, and good that you have seen progress in Naruto. They were sitting on a tree branch, watching Naruto kill himself to train under Itami's gaze. Itami has a lot of chakra. Her determination to never give up is interesting to watch, and her affinity is wind. Shisui, I see, will be a great shinobi in the future. It's been a year since Itami accepted Naruto as his student in those 2 years. Naruto had reached the level of high genin in the academy. He hid his potential, since he already knew the reason why they hated him. It was the Hinkariki of the Kibit, the demon that attacked the village 6 years ago. At first, he felt sad about being the demon that attacked the village 6 years ago. That's stupid. People don't know the difference between the holster and the katana if the fourth gak sealed you to the kibits. Because he trusted that you Naruto Uzumaki will manage to master his power. I trust. In you Naruto, do not forget, you are not alone. I will always be watching over you. I will always be by your side. You are not alone. You have me to Shizuka, almost to the third gaki, to those of Ishirakuruman, to Sasuke and my mother. You are not alone, always. We will be by your side. I will always be by your side. I will always be watching over you. Itami's words burned into his mind and caused a strong blush in the minor. The Uchiha was beautiful, but only when she smiled. Itami, happy birthday Naruto. He said with a small smile to Naruto. He didn't like celebrating his birthday much, it brought back bad memories. He held out a katana with a black sheath to him. Naruto, thank you Itami-sensei. He thanked the blue Oji looking at his beautiful sensei, and he wasn't going to deny it, she was beautiful. Itami, today, we will start with your kenjutsu training. The clone pulled out a katana and started training the blonde. They started with the basics. After a few hours the Uzumaki. He went to Ishiraku Ramen to get a good bowl of ramen, and the Uchiha disappeared in Crow's the blue Oji. He was walking towards his apartment to his surprise. When he turned on the lights, he saw something that surprised him. All happy birthday Naruto. He saw Kakashi Shisui Mikoto Sasuke from Ishiraku Ramen to the third gate. And some friends from the academy like Shikamaru Nara Chuji Akamichi and No Yamanaka, and especially his sensei Itami Uchiha. Naruto, what are you doing here? The blue Oji asked incredulously when he saw them in his apartment. Mikoto, that's obvious. We decided to throw you a birthday party. Shisuya guesses whose idea it was, said the prodigy Uchiha, looking at his black-haired friend, who was smiling slightly. Naruto, you organized it, Itami. Her cheeks took on a red color, the black hair was only limited to nodding. Itami, let's start with the party. The party was wonderful. Naruto and everyone had a lot of fun. Kakashi wanted to give him an orange cover book called Icha Icha Paradise, but Mikoto pounced on him to take the book from him and burn it, although without anyone noticing, Shisui secretly passed him an orange cover book. Without anyone noticing, Shikamaru gave Naruto a set of shoji choji, some potatoes and not some flowers, and they look. He gave him a series of books with exercises and a roll with wind jutsus. Toiki, and give me a voucher for a year of free ramen. Shisui a Sasuke katana did not give him anything as he was forced to come and Mikoto some papers. Naruto he said without believing what was put on the sheet of adoption papers. Mikoto Uchiha adopts Naruto Uzumaki. Welcome to the Uchiha Naruto family. His eyes got wet to arms crying of happiness to Mikoto, and Tani smiled slightly, and Sasuke crossed his arms upset. Now I was going to have that idiot for a brother. It had been a year since Naruto was adopted by Mikoto Uchiha to Fugaku. He did not like the idea of having the Kibit child in his house, but that your dear wife looks at you with the eternal Mantequio Sharingan. Promising a lot of pain if he said anything about it, and his daughter looking at him with the Sharingan in a way. Trika wasn't stupid, his wife was stronger than him, and he wasn't going to say or do anything stupid if he didn't want to die. And Sasuke didn't like Naruto. They were two rivals, and Tami, when she looked at her two brothers, she knew they would have a great future. The Uchiha clan did not like having the Kibit child. That caused the Uchihas to hate Naruto more, but they couldn't do anything because Mikoto and Tami and Shisui protected him that. And that Mikoto was much more scary than Fugaku. Even he couldn't resist his wife, Naruto. I was safe with Mikoto and Tami and Shisui. Sasuke, upon learning that his older sister was training Naruto, and he was not very upset, demanded answers from him. Sasuke, why are you training the Dobe and Mino? Demanded the younger Uchiha, angrily looking at his older sister. And Tami, are Loga's orders that Sasuke. Sasuke, that's no reason to train the Dobe and Mino. He said between upset and sad. Younger Lucia wanted to spend more time with her older sister. Itami Sasuke, just because I trained Naruto doesn't mean I don't love you. Sasuke. I just want to spend more time with you, Nissen. Itami Sasuke. From that day he started training both of them equally, and that rivalry between them made them give the most of them in their workouts. They were not going to be outdone by the other, and Tammy only left one clone to train her brothers, since her missions as Ambu took up a lot of time. Mikoto also trained her children. Also Shisui stopped by from time to time to train his younger brothers. Itami Naruto, are you okay? I notice you red. The worried Uchiha asked, watching as the blonde blushed more because of the closeness between him and Itami. Naruto, I'm fine with that one, go for it. The Uzumaki said very nervously. He didn't know why, but every time he saw Itami he blushed, he got very nervous. The Uchiha put her hand on Naruto's forehead started to burn. Itami, you have a very high fever. The black woman said with concern. Naruto was redder than a tomato. Naruto MT. I've got to go get you. The Uzumaki at a great speed left the place, leaving Itami worried. Mikoto still doesn't notice him or her. The matriarch of the Uchiha clan thought, seeing how her son cared about Naruto. He didn't realize that Naruto had fallen in love with his daughter. Itami was the first person, apart from Ishiraku Ramen and the third Geik, who recognized Naruto and went to the trouble of training him. Naruto was in love with Itami and his daughter didn't realize it yet, but she had feelings for Naruto. Mikoto, it will be fun to see Sasuke's reaction in the future. It was a dark day in Konoha village, and Tammy Uchiha was on a pole, watching the Uchiha clan with sadness. There was no other choice left. Are you ready? Asked a guy with an orange mask, had long pine-shaped hair in his mask hole of could see a Sharingan eye. And Tammy, if you remember our deal, Madara don't touch Mother Sasuke or Naruto. Madara, a deal is a deal, and I see you got too attached to the Kibit boy. The Uchiha, since she met Naruto, there was something in Naruto that attracted him. She couldn't take her eyes off him, she couldn't stop dreaming about him, she couldn't stop thinking about Naruto. She really loved him, she didn't care that he was Sasuke's age, she loved him and that mattered, she would protect him from the shadows. And Tammy, you don't care about that, Madara. Madara disappeared in a black vortex, and Tammy got up from the pole, activated her Sharingan, and started walking around the Uchiha clan compound. He saw Yukia's and ran towards him with katana in hand, cutting them in two. Blood splattered on his face. He didn't mind that. He saw more traitors. When they saw the prodigy, they ran to her. The black movie grabbed her katana and killed them. He kept walking. Until I see more traitors and I kill them. Fugaku, so this is what we have come to. The Uchiha clan leader said from behind, looking at the main rock of the Uchiha clan. With the explanations of how to get the eternal Mantequio Sharingan. It could only be read with the Sharingan mantle. Itami father. Fugaku, let me show you what will happen if the coup takes place. She looked at her daughter with her eternal Sharingan shawl. Itami watched as the Kibi destroyed the village, while the Yukiyas killed everyone in Konoha, fell to his knees to the ground. Fugaku, I'm not going to fight to the death with my daughter, said the leader of the Uchiha clan, to go to the hall to sit down. On your knees. Itami father. Fugaku Itami, I'm really sorry that I couldn't spend more time with you, but I'm really proud of you, Itami. I am very sorry that there is no other way to solve this. Itami father, I'm sorry. Fugaku, don't be sorry, it's my fault. Unlike you, my pain will end much sooner than yours. Promise me something, that you will take care of your mothers Sasuke and Naruto. He is someone special, I'm sorry I didn't realize it sooner. Itami, I promise. With tears in his eyes, he killed his father by staining the wall with blood. Mikoto entered shocked to see her husband dead. Itami, sorry mother. He activated his Sharingan mantle by putting his mother in the Tsukuyomi. She fell to the ground unconscious. Meanwhile, when Naruto entered the Uchiha clan, he noticed it was quieter. Scared, he ran towards his house. He saw with horror corpses and blood on the ground. He ran faster to his house, to see Mikoto on the ground, passed out next to Sasuke, to dead Fugaku and ate. Itami looking at him with the Sharingan mantle. Naruto Itami, what did you do? Itami, silly and stupid little brother, I only did it to measure my skills. Your Sasuke and mother don't deserve to die. Let me show you my new power, Tsukuyomi. Sorry Naruto. The blonde screamed in pain to fall to the ground. Naruto, why did you do that, Itami? I love you, why did you do this to me? The blonde thought between sad and angry. Out of the darkness, two blood-red eyes came out of the darkness. So that a powerful red chakra surrounded Naruto, causing a red swirl with the shape of the Kibit to form in the sky, and Tammy was surprised to feel the Kibit chakra, quickly left her house, followed by Naruto. Naruto and Tammy. Naruto shouted while possessed by the red chakra cloak the Uchiha. He dodged Naruto's attack to activate his Sharingan Mantequio again. Itami Tsukuyomi. The red chakra cloak disappeared, and Naruto fell into unconsciousness as he watched a tear trickle down Itami's right eye. Itami, forgive me, Naruto. The Uchiha approached the blonde, crouched down at his height, and kissed him on the lips. She took one last look at Naruto and disappeared in crows. Itami, forgive me, Naruto, thought the sad Uchiha, seeing the Hinkariki on the floor unconscious. A tear slid down her left eye. I was clear about what was going to happen. She was going to be a renegade, a criminal for having exterminated the Uchiha clan. He was going to protect the village he loves from the shadows, and, above all, his mother Sasuke, and the person who loved Naruto. That imperative little boy with the dream of his. It seems that Itami crouched down at Naruto's level and kissed him on the lips. Itami, goodbye, Naruto. He disappeared from the place, went to threaten Danzo. If she touched her mother to Sasuke and to Naruto, she was going to reveal all the secrets of Konoha to the other villages. The Shimura cursed her, but she had already disappeared in crows. Itami, everything. This is for Konoha. For you guys. Mom, Sasuke. Naruto? Itami Uchiha could be anything, but it was also human to annihilate his clan. Carrying Konoha's hatred was too much for her, but she would carry that weight to protect her family. She burst into tears, let go of that rage, anger, pain, importance, all the suffering she carried for 14 long years. Pain, well, welcome the newest member of Akazuki. The leader of that strange organization called Akazuki spoke. He was an orange movie with purple eyes with rings. He had piercings all over his face, and a piercing on his nose. The leader was called Pain. He was wearing a black cape with red clouds like everyone in the organization. Conan is finally another woman in this organization, exclaimed the happy blue movie, watching as Itami entered the Akazuki's lair in Ambu's suit. Pain, this is Itami Uchiha. Aiden, what a beauty really. Leader, this girl is the new member of Akazuki. The foul-mouthed Jasonist asked so that his head would fall to the ground, rolling so that everyone would see Itami with the katana in hand. And the sharing and active. Aiden, that fucking hurts. Shouted Aiden. Kakuzu sewed his head back on by placing in its place. I like Conan a lot. Pain and Tami, they are your companions, and Dan Kakuzu Sesori Kisamzetsu Tobi Conan, and me the leader Pain. Itami. Itami said, analyzing everyone with a special look at Tobi, the man in the mask who helped him annihilate the Uchiha Pain clan. He handed him his Kazuki cape and gave him his crossed-out sash. Pain, well Itami, your partner will be Kisam. Conan, hi. Itami will be my partner. Pain, Conan, I am the leader I. He was silenced by the blow of a frying pan. Everyone except the Uchiha looked scared to the blue movie, who had a very sweet smile. Conan, someone has something else to say, she said with a very sweet smile. The men shook their heads. Happy Conan dragged Itami to his room, where there were 2 beds. Conan, what's your story? Asked the Ojimiel sitting opposite to Itami. Itami, annihilate my clan. The black movie said coldly. The blue movie let out a sigh. Conan, look, you don't want to be here, and I'm not here for Nagato either, but now that we're partners, we should get along. And Tami, you're right, Conan, said the Uchiha, softening his gaze. Not everything would be bad. She would have her new friend in that criminal organization that she was to live. Keeping an eye on Tobi and the criminal organization. Conan, since we're friends, could you help me with something? Asked the blue movie, looking at her friend. To the black movie, she thought about it a little. And Tami, I have nothing else to do. The girl caught a camera that gave her the blue movie. She looked at him confused. Conan, do you like Ya today? Itami thought about his beloved younger brother and Naruto doing unholy things. He covered his nose with his hand, preventing nosebleeds. Conan, great, help me to do already today. It had been 7 years since the Uchiha massacre at the hands of Itami Uchiha. Since that day, nothing has been the same for Naruto. It hurt him too much, not having Itami by his side, and fate as if it wanted to see him suffer, or in this case. The Kibit repeated every night that horrible nightmare, the massacre of the Uchiha clan. As Itami mercilessly killed everyone in the clan, except him. Sasuke and Mikoto was hell every night. These nightmares tormented him with a single goal. Getting to be free. The Kibit is not stupid. He knew that if he managed to be free, the masked man would control him again to capture him. His goal was to manipulate Naruto, to control Naruto's mind, and do whatever he wants, but there was a problem. Naruto remembered something. I'm sorry, Naruto. Forgive me. He saw a tear come out of his right eye. Itami, and then she felt something warm on her lips. I didn't know what it was, but there was a reason behind the Uchiha massacre. Otherwise, Itami would not have told him, I'm sorry, Naruto, forgive me. There had to be a reason, a motive. That's all. That was determined to find out the truth. He was getting stronger to be able to protect Mikoto and Sasuke. Bring back to Itami, no matter what it takes. Sasuke. He hated Itami for having massacred the Uchiha clan, leaving him and his mother to do as she told him. He hated her until he was stronger and could kill her. Mikoto was the most affected because she was his daughter, his beautiful girl. She couldn't believe he killed everyone, leaving her alone with Sasuke and Naruto. Forgive me. Mother, those words kept repeating over and over in her head. I heard what everyone was saying about Itami, that she was a traitor, a lot of insults, hatred directed towards her. Made him want to kill them. They do not know everything that their daughter suffers. They don't know the weight they're carrying on their back. They don't know anything about their daughter. He knew his daughter was in the dark. She was a prodigy among the Uchiha clan, her husband, and everyone in the clan did not understand her when she met Naruto. That imperative little boy became the most important thing for her. He became her new light. Apart from her and Sasuke, Naruto was very important. She also for Naruto cried every night for not having her daughter. By her side he couldn't help it, he loved her very much, and the simple fact that she was a criminal broke his heart. He was weak. Since Sasuke was born, he stopped training even so. She was a beautiful woman of some had Sasuke at the age of 18. Despite the years, it was preserved quite well. She was the most beautiful in Konoha. If he wanted answers and his daughter back, he would become stronger to protect his family and bring his daughter back. No matter what the cost. Naruto Itami. The blue Oji thought depressedly looking out the window at a black crow. It reminded him of Itami. She used the crows to check on Naruto Sasuke and his mother. Iruka Naruto is paying attention. I scold the Scar Chunin to the distracted blonde. Naruto, I'm sorry, Iruka-sensei. The Uzumaki apologized with a nervous laugh. The Chunin let out a long sigh and went on to announce the teams. Iruka, Team 7, Naruto Uzumaki, Sasuke Uchiha, and Sakura Aruno. The blue Oji smiled at having his adopted brother as a companion. Of team, while Sasuke was annoyed, he was glad to have Naruto on his team, but Sakura not the thing he hated the most about her. Was her squeaky voice. I had to resist the urge to burn her. After hours, Kakashi arrived to attack his sensei. Kakashi, okay, tell me your names, likes, what you hate and your dreams. First, the only thing you need to know. See, my name is Kakashi Atake. Naruto, my name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like ramen training, spending time with my mom. I hate those who mess with others or those who hate people for something they are not to blame, and my dream is to be the best Ogak. So that everyone stops treating me badly and looks at me with respect. My other dream is to bring someone back. He said the last with sad Kakashi. I noticed the only thing they heard from Sakura is Sasuke-kun. Sasuke, my name is Sasuke Uchiha. What I like doesn't matter to you, what I hate either, and my dream is not a dream, is rather an ambition. I'm going to kill someone special, and I'm going to rebuild my clan. Naruto, I won't let you kill Itami-chan Sasuke. Kakashi Union go to the N7 training camp at 5 o'clock. I recommend you not to have breakfast. Naruto Itami, I've missed you a lot. Thought the blonde sad, seeing a black crow through the window of Itami's room. It reminded him of Itami. The crows were his invocation. He looked at the picture of. From his room were Mikoto Sasuke the Itami smiling at the camera. Damn, it hurt too much. She wiped her tears to go take a shower. He changed into his normal clothes and went down to breakfast. Mikoto, good morning, Naru-chan. The memory of Itami on his back, preparing breakfast, hit him hard. Damn, fate. He was cruel, he smiled a little forced so as not to worry his mother. Naruto, good morning, mom. He said with his trademark Uzumaki smile. Mikoto knew that she was a little forced, she knew about Naruto's feelings towards his daughter. Because Naruto was hurt more that Itami is a renegade. Sasuke, good morning. I greet the younger Uchiha with a small smile, entering the dining room. Sasuke, hey, we have to go where we have the Kakashi test. Naruto, don't worry about that, I know you Kakashi ni, and for a long time, the thing about not having breakfast was a recommendation. And believe me, he will get lost on the road of life, and will arrive about 3 or 4 hours late. He said the Uzumaki as if nothing happened. Mikoto left the breakfast on the table to Naruto, a big plate of miso ramen. And Sasuke scrambled eggs with bacon, while she ate rice. Naruto, mom, when are you going back to the shinobi system? The serious blonde asked, since Mikoto trained very hard every day, and had regained his title head-on. Black Phoenix. Mikoto, when Tsunade returns to Konoha. Mikoto knew that Irizen was old, he had lost a lot of power, his hands were tied. He could not do much to stop the feat of the civil council and the councillors. Tsunade Senju was like the second Ogak, he didn't let anyone or anything get in his way, and no. I wouldn't take no for an answer. Naruto, thanks for the meal, it was delicious. He finished his bowl of ramen, and disappeared in crows, the Uch-Alo, and Mito disappearing in smoke. Mikoto, they are finally gone. She said super happy the black movie, to get her Icha Icha Paradise out of its super secret hiding place, and start reading. Mikoto Jiji Miku-chan, you are bad look what to do with your sister. The crow watching her had a big drop of sweat on the back of her neck. At the N7 training camp. After 4 hours Kakashi deigned to appear to explain what the test consisted of. Kakashi, you are not hiding. He asked reading his orange cover book, while a black crow was perched on a tree watching everything. Naruto Kakashi, I didn't even do very well what your test consists of. I'll be honest, the Aruno won't do anything, and my brother is waiting for the right moment to attack. Kakashi, interesting, he's going to entertain me so his teammates can steal my helmets. Cables at the right time, and Tammy, you taught her well. Thought the ninja copy, watching as the Uzumaki pulled out a black holstered katana with red engravings. The blonde appeared in front of the attack, giving him a strong kick in the face, sending him flying. The copy ninja landed on his feet to run towards Naruto with a crib and in hand. They collided their weapons, creating sparks, separated, and stared at each other. Naruto, wind style, wind bullets. He spat out 5 wind bullets that hit the attack. He disappeared in smoke to appear under the earth, trying to grab the blonde's leg. This one disappeared in crows to appear behind the danger and kick him in the back, sending him backwards. The attack dodged in time. Golden chains jump backwards, dodging Naruto's golden chains. Sasuke fire style, big fireball. The Uchiha spat out a large fireball. The attack dodged him in time. The black-haired man appeared next to Naruto. He ran, together with Uzumaki towards the attack, starting a very even taijutsu battle. Gradually, the Uzumaki and the Uchiha were gaining the upper hand. Kakashi stepped back. He saw how Naruto created 10 shadow clones that rushed to beat Kakashi. He eliminated them with some difficulty. Naruto sexy jutsu. The Uzumaki was enveloped in smoke, transforming into a female version of the Kakashi, and Sasuke passed out with a nosebleed. And the crow fell on his back. They fell into jutsu like that. Naruto snatched the bells from them. Conan, wow, Naruto is very witty, said the blue movie, seeing through Itami's raven. Itami, you're right, Naruto is someone amazing. Conan, that's why you like him. The Uchiha said nothing. A slight rustle adorned her face. The paper angel laughed slightly. Itami, don't laugh. The blue movie said, a little annoyed. He ignored her, angering the Uchiha more, who threw a book at her face. A black crow was watching over Naruto. This one was sleeping on the branch of a tree, next to the cat Tora. Conan, you're a stalker, did you know that? Said the blue movie, seeing through Itami's raven. She kept quiet, watching the blonde sleeping. Itami, I keep an eye on him, it's a very different thing. Said the Uchiha stoically. The blue movie looked at her funny. With Inaja, I would believe you if you didn't spy on him while he's changing or showering. And Tamiya Matarasu. Back to Naruto. Sasuke Dobe. The Uchiha shouted, making the blonde suddenly wake up, making him fall to the ground with the cat Tora in his arms to the ground. Naruto is afraid. The Uzumaki shouted angrily, seeing his adopted brother with hatred. Sasuke Dobe, why the hell didn't you let us know you had the demon cat? Said the Uchiha. The Uzumaki angrily, he was just laughing nervously. At Logok's office. O Tora woman, where were you? You had me very worried. The woman said, very worried, hugging the cat Tora tightly. Naruto, now I understand why you ran away quietly. I will rescue you, I promise. He thought, seeing the Tora cat in his mind with pity, planning how to rescue the Tora cat. And they look good. Next mission. Tall old Naruto. Give us a real mission, man. I've had enough of doing pathetic missions. Give us a real mission. The blonde man shouted angrily, making his arms into an X shape. The old monkey felt for some reason a terrible look on him. And Ruth, in this well, I will give you a C-rank quest that enter the builder. The doors opened, letting an old drunk in. These are the ones who will escort me. A scarecrow, an ironing board, an emo with a duck-back hairstyle, and an effeminate blonde, the angry drunk said to the 4 of them. And Ruth on the Estazuna, a bridge builder, her mission is to escort him to the country of La Sola. Said the old man. Everyone came out of Irizan's office. He took out his Ichika paradise and started laughing, while laughing perversely. Mikoto, do you have everything you need for your first mission outside the village? Matriarch Uchiha asked worriedly. I was in overprotective mother mode, and it is. She was very worried about her children. Naruto, don't worry, mother will be fine. He said with a calm smile to the black-haired woman. Sasuke, don't worry, we'll be fine. The black eye said with a half smile. The Uchiha calmed down. They both left the house, leaving the woman at home alone. Mikoto, they are finally gone. Exclaimed the black movie, so that it looks different colors was turned on in the house, so that this one danced super happy. While a crow saw him with a big drop of sweat. Naruto, you're late. Kakashi, said the blue Oji, annoyed seeing the silver movie arrive with his erotic novel. Kakashi, I got lost on the path of life. The copy ninja excused himself by pissing everyone off. They set out for the land of the waves. Naruto stopped when he saw a puddle of them. 2 chunins came out of the puddle. They jumped in to hit Naruto. He pulled out his katana, blocking the claws full of poison. Naruto kicked the Chunin, sending him backwards. After the other Chunin was hit by the Uchiha, sending him flying, the blonde dodged the poison-filled claw of one of the Chunins to take out his Dinatima chains, catching the Chunin of Kiri to give him a blow and leave him unconscious. Sasuke appeared behind the Chunin to kick him in the back, sending him against a tree, leaving him unconscious. Kakashi, well done Naruto. Sasuke, Sakura, well done on protecting Tazuna. Naruto, Tazuna, it's time for you to tell us the truth, don't you think? Said the blue OG, seeing with an unpleasant smile to Tazuna. Scaring him, this told him his whole story of why he lied to them, angering Naruto. Naruto, come on, we can't leave them abandoned, he said seriously. The Uzumaki kept moving forward until they reached a ship. The ferryman took them to the mainland, where a sword almost killed Naruto, but he disappeared in crows. Kakashi, Zabuza, Momoki. Kakashi looked seriously at the swordsman of the mist, Naruto, Sasuke, and Sasuke. Sakura surrounded Tazuna to protect him from the swordsman. Naruto, I feel someone nearby. He thought, seeing a part of the place, feeling someone hidden. A dense fog began to surround the place. The swordsman jumped to the ground to look at Kakashi. Zabuza, hand me over to the bridge builder and no one will get hurt, he said seriously. The renegade of Kiri, Kakashi, placed himself in front of Tazuna and uncovered his Sharingan eye. Kakashi, you'll have to kill me if you want Tazuna, the silver-haired man said seriously, to run towards the swordsman of the mist, crashing his cradle and against the sword of Zabuza. Clone, who are you? The Ambo was surprised. The blonde had detected it. He easily sent a clone towards the one who had a kunai on his neck. Ambu, I am an Ambu from Kiri. My mission is to capture Zabuza, Momoki. Clone would believe you, but if you were, you wouldn't be hiding here waiting for Kakashi-sensei to knock him unconscious so you could take him away. Let me guess, you work for Gato, right? The Ambu was very surprised, because he had guessed that he worked for Gato. The clone put away the kunai and looked at the Ambu. He didn't notice any bad intentions in the clone, so he relaxed. Clone, Ambu Santu, and I need to talk. Ambu, how can I trust you? Clone, I have no intention of killing them alone. I want to kill Cat, so talk. Ambu, you'll see. Meanwhile, in the fight, Kakashi dodged Zabuza's sword to kick him in the abdomen, sending him backwards. The swordsman landed in the water. Zabuza water style, water dragon. Kakashi fire style, big fireball. The attack spat out a large fireball that evaporated the water dragon, creating more steam. The attack started doing hand positions at an incredible speed. No one but Naruto and Sasuke could see Kakashi's movements. Mikoto was training her children, so Sasuke woke up his two-bladed Sharingan, and Naruto his Dinatima chains. Kakashi created a large water dragon that collided with the swordsman's attack, creating a huge explosion of water. It could be seen how Kakashi was trapped in a water prison. Naruto, Sasuke. Sasuke, Naruto. Both brothers ran towards Zabuza. 6 water clones ran towards Lukia, and Uzumaki, 3 water clones, attacked the blue OG. This one disappeared in crows to appear behind a clone with the katana in hand, slashing the clone. The other 2 clones kicked Naruto hard, sending him crashing into a tree. The blonde man stood up as if nothing had happened with his katana, blocked the swords of the clones to summon 2 chakra chains that pierced the clones. Sasuke fire style, big fireball. He spat out a big fireball that went in the direction of the clones. The fireball only hit one clone, causing it to disappear. The other 2 clones ran towards Sasuke. This jumping up, kicking them in the face, sending them backwards. The Uchiha dodged his swords. He launched a shuriken that multiplied the hundreds of shurikens stuck on the clones, making them disappear. Zabuza, your students are very interesting, Kakashi. Kakashi, the 2 of them are rivals, but when it comes to facing an enemy, they work as a team. And their motivation of not being surpassed makes them stronger. Zabuza, those brats will do great things in the future. The Uzumaki and Uchiha ran towards the original. He sent more clones to the rivals, who were easily annihilated by the 2 rivals. Zabuza jumped back, dodging the 2 Genings and freeing Kakashi from the prison. Kakashi, thank you for setting me free. Now I'll take care of. From Zabuza. Naruto and Sasuke retreated to Tazuna to watch the epic battle of the 2 Hounins. After the silver-haired defeated the swordsman of the mist, Unambu appeared and took him away. Tazuna led them to her house, where she lived with her beautiful daughter Tsunami, who bore an incredible resemblance to Mikoto Uchiha, and her grandson Inari. And while a crow saw them in the distance, and Tani was happy that they arrived safely at Tazuna's house. Naruto opened his eyes blushing, cursed the stupid hairball that lived in his head. Lately I was fucking him with the same thing, and Tani were no longer terrible nightmares in which he killed everyone in the clan. Uchiha wasn't that. Either Itami raping him, or apparently the fox really liked watching Naruto's reaction. It was more fun than putting him in terrible nightmares. Naruto, stupid fox. The Uzumaki growled annoyingly, while the fox was lying in his cell. Kibit, well you enjoy, he said, intentionally making Naruto turn red, and started to stutter. Naruto, stupid hairball. Why don't you just do the same old thing, and leave me alone? Kibito, if you'll excuse me, I forgot that I'm locked in a cold and damp cell, and my only occupation is sleeping and fucking my Jinchuriki, said the Viju, annoyed. Naruto understood the mental space to the fox. Change, the bars that had enclosed the Viju had disappeared the space. Change, everything was a forest. To be exact, the forest of death was no longer enclosed in the neck of the Viju. A necklace appeared that did nothing to thank the fox, because he was proud, but he swallowed his pride. And he didn't say how humiliating it was for him to have that stupid necklace, which was the seal that kept him inside Naruto. Naruto, are you happy, Kibit? This is the forest of death where you can hunt the animals that live in this place. Kibit, don't think that just because I'm not locked in a cell anymore, I won't stop fucking with you. Naruto, are you happy now? Kibitum, the necklace is humiliating, but I'll let it go and let you use 3 tails of my power. As a thank you for changing the mental landscape. While the Viju was hunting its prey, the Uzumaki went down to the living room to have breakfast. After breakfast, they went to the forest to train. Naruto separated from his team and left. He went to a further part of the forest. Naruto was wondering when you were going to show up, said the Uzumaki, seeing the person who just appeared was a black-haired guy with black eyes. He was wearing a pink kimono. Naruto, I'm doubting whether you're a man or a woman, Aku. Aku, I already told you I'm a man, said the user of the ice element, annoyed. Naruto, a man wouldn't wear a pink kimono. Aku, what's wrong? I like it, he said, this one without understanding the blonde one. He got dangerously close to him by cornering him against a tree. This one blushed, and a crow got angry. Aku Q, what are you doing? Asked the blonde, blushing. He smiled in a slutty way. Naruto, what's wrong? I make you nervous. You know, you can fool others, but not me. Your scent, your way of behaving is that of a woman besides, said the blonde, touching a soft lying part, gave him a powerful knee in the lower parts, getting rid of Uzumaki. Naruto, you're a woman, I knew that, shouted the blonde, lying on the ground, holding the noble parts. Aku, let's go now, he said, annoyed, the black movie turning around and starting to walk. Naruto, with that character will never have a boyfriend. The black movie launched a powerful oral attack at Uzumaki. He dodged them easily. Naruto, you failed. Zabuza, Aku, why did you bring this ninja from Konoha? The swordsman asked. He was lying on the bed. He was weak from the battle he had with Kakashi. Aku wants to talk to you. Naruto, I want to make a deal, the Jinchuriki said seriously, to put his hand on Zabuza Chaka's chest. Rojo started healing Zabuza in 30 seconds. He was completely healed. Zabuza, what did you do and why? The swordsman of the mist asked, confused. Naruto, you're cured. I used the Kibit chakra and I want to make a deal. Cat is going to betray you instead of being enemies. Let's work together. We set a battle on the bridge, and when Cat arrives, we kill him. Half the money for you and half for the country of the waves. And the reason why is because you guys don't deserve to die. Least of all, she deserves to have a normal life. Do you accept the deal? The swordsman of the mist thought about it and accepted the deal. Starting a new life in Konoha was not a bad idea. A week had passed since the swordsman of the mist and Naruto made a deal. Kakashi had dedicated himself to training Sasuke and Sakura. She had a good chakra control, so it was easy for her to climb the tree branch. But Kakashi didn't want her to be a hindrance, so he trained her more. And Sasuke learned the Chidori and more fire jutsus after. After a week, Team 7 headed to the bridge with Tazuna, with the goal of finishing the bridge. There was little left, already due to Naruto using his shadow clones to help Tazuna with the construction of the bridge. Kakashi are already here. A dense fog began to cover the Zabuza Momoki bridge and the Ambu appeared on the bridge. Zabuza, take care of them. Ambus and Zabuza-sama. The Ambu immediately went to Sasuke and Sakura as Naruto had not arrived yet. Ambu ice style, ice mirrors. Both Jennies were trapped in a big prison with ice mirrors. The Ambu appeared in all the mirrors. Ambu, they better give up, they have no chance to beat me. Speaking stoically, the Ambu Sasuke activated his mature Sharingan, while the Aruno pulled out a kunai. Crow, this is going to get interesting, thought the Raven, and Tammy was controlling the Raven with her Sharingan to see through it. Sasuke, shut up. The Ambu took out needles and balls and started throwing them to the two Genin. Sasuke deflected them very easily, and Sakura got some needles stuck in balls. Ambu, your Sharingan is very interesting, but let's see how about with this. The user of the ice element pulled out more needles and balls, causing a large shower of needles and balls that stuck in both Jennies, making them spit blood. Sasuke was upset. Even so, with his mother's training, he can with that Ambu, but he was not Sasuke. Uchiha wouldn't let herself be trampled by someone like that Ambu. Naruto was much stronger than him, and he was aware of it. Sasuke's Sharingan was spinning furiously while I had Tsukune ready to deflect the needles in bowls around the mirrors. He began to create needles in ice bags, surprising the two genes. The ice needles plus his needles in bowls couldn't do anything, but Sasuke wouldn't give up that easy either. Sakura both were with Kune deflecting the major. As many needles as possible in bowls, but the Semble's rain never stopped, and the ice was indestructible. Sasuke threw a huge fireball, in the hope that the ice mirror would melt, but it was only a little. The mirror was as before. Ambu, I already told you that it was useless to give up. I speak in a monotone voice. The Ambu, who was actually Aku, wasn't going to kill them, just see how far they were willing to go. Sasuke, keep dreaming, I won't give up. Sakura, me neither. Ambu, as you wish. He was going to throw more needles in bowls, but stopped when he felt the presence of Kat. This confused Sasuke and Sakura. The ice jutsu came undone. Ambu, this is over. Sakura, what do you mean? Naruto, easy, Sakura. We have made a deal. They have faked the battle on the bridge for when Gato arrived to kill him, and with the money from this give it to him. Or to the country of the waves, said the Uzumaki appearing in crows next to the Ambu named Aku, who took off the mask of. Showing that he was a beautiful angel, blushing Sasuke and Sakura was an angel fallen from heaven. These were Lucia's thoughts when she saw the beautiful fallen angel. Raven, my, Sasuke has fallen in love. Konan will make a nice couple. And Tami if they will. Konan as you and Naruto. Itami, I don't know what you're talking about. I speak in a monotonous way. The Uchiha the blue movie was like a sister to her, of course sometimes it got on her nerves. Kananaha then explained this to me. Said the funny blue movie, pulling out a small brown album that had the title Naruto, Private Photo Collection. Owned by Itami Uchiha, not to touch. Itami. The Uchiha was surrounded by a terrible dark aura and began to chase the blue movie all over Akazuki's cave while the blue movie laughed. And Tami had a katana with clear intentions of killing her. Kakashi, is that true, Zabuza? Asked the silver movie undoing the Kidori, seeing the injured swordsman. Zabuza, Naruto, is someone special, Kakashi. The swordsman was covered by a red chakra cloak that healed all his wounds at high speed. As a clone of Naruto had passed some chakra from his biju to him. Cat, well, you're a useless Zabuza. You couldn't do something so simple anyway. I wasn't going to pay you an os. Mate, maybe I kept your daughter, that red-haired one, and those women from the village to be mine. Zabuza, Naruto. Naruto, it's all yours. What followed was a brutal massacre at the hands of the raging fog demon. After Gato died at the hands of Zabuza Momoki, the bridge was christened the Great Bridge. Of the half of the money from the fortune of the tycoon Gato went to the country of waves. To repair all the damage that Gato caused in the village. The swordsman of the mist and the user of the ice element left with Team 7, ready to return to Konoha on the way. Naruto and Zabuza were talking about Icha and Chapparatus about what his new one would be like. Life in Konoha and stuff. Sasuke for some reason couldn't stop looking at Aku. He wanted to talk to her, but for some reason he was nervous and couldn't talk to the black movie. Without swallowing the words, Aku silently watched Sasuke. I was curious about the Uchiha. He saw that the black movie was strong for his age. I was curious. How strong the Uchiha was and how much the Uchiha Sakura could become. She was quietly thinking about her Fajurlika stuff. She was almost reading her beloved erotic novel and Chika Paradise. Irizen I see already, so Zabuza Momoki, one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist and a Kuyuki, want to be part of Konoha? Asked the third serious Geik, looking at the two if it was a favor from his grandson. Rather, Naruto blackmailed him into being part of Konoha. Zabuza's and Ogeik-sama, my daughter and I would like to stay in Konoha, the swordsman said seriously looking at the third Geik. And look, well welcome to Konoha, but you will be under the supervision of the Ambus for 3 months, my Kodo nothing Ambus and Lucen, I watched them. He said, she would be the matriarch of the Uchiha clan. Entering the room, I wanted to keep an eye on them for 2 reasons. The first, I was sure that Danzo one way or another would make Aku, the only survivor of the Yuki clan, possessor of the ice element. A who has you and who hides. He gets, by mixing the wind and water element, was under his control to use it as a weapon or brood machine, of course. That having the hidden demon of the mist in Konoha was quite tempting for someone like Danzo. And the second reason, he had noticed Sasuke's interest in the ice user, so he wanted to help his daughter Kanaku. She wanted to be a grandmother as soon as possible, and that's why she was making plans in her mind on how to bring them together. Irizen is fine, Mikoto Uchiha, you are assigned to watch over Zabuza Momoki and Akuyuki for 3 months. Now please leave my office, I have a lot of work to do. The old man said kindly. They left his office, and Lucen created 20 shadow clones that did the paperwork, while he took out an orange-covered book and started laughing like a schoolgirl. He wouldn't admit it out loud, but his student Jiraiya knew what was done by making kinky novels. Then what are you going to show me the village for? Asked the black movie, who was now a ninja from Konoha. His ninja band was on his forehead after Kakashi gathered them to tell them that he enrolled them in the exams. Chunin Sasuke had offered to teach Aku the village while Mikoto had put Zabuza in a genjutsu, so that he wouldn't kill his son for being with his daughter. Sasuke, I have nothing else to do, Iluchia said with her cold tone, and with her hands in her pockets. She started walking followed by the ice user. Naruto, I miss you so much, and Tami. He thought the sad blue Oji was walking through the village aimlessly until he crashed. With someone both falling to the ground, he raised his life and saw a guy in a black cat suit, a blonde with a big fan. They had the Suna bands. Kibi, I feel one of my brothers, it's definitely the Ichibi. Naruto, thank you, Kibi. Sorry, I was distracted. Be more careful, said the other annoying person. The blonde stood up and looked at a tree. Naruto, are you going to stay there or are you going to come out of hiding? The blonde spoke looking at a specific point. Out of that came a redhead who landed on the ground in a sand tornado. Kankuro ga? Ra. Gara, shut up, I'll kill you. I sentenced coldly. The blonde man held out his hand to her with a smile that surprised the brothers. The red-haired man accepted it by surprise from his brothers. Gara, so you are a Jinchuriki too. This will be very interesting. The Chunin exams had started today. It was a new day at the Uchiha residence. Naruto opened his eyes with heaviness due to the sun rays coming through the window of Itami's room, and he missed her. He got up lazily from the bed, and she went to the bathroom to change into her normal clothes and go down to the living room for breakfast. Aku, but what the hell? The Yuki blushed in her mind. Mikoto Uchiha has been very kind to let them stay at her house without knowing that everything was a plan of the black movie. To unite her son more with Aku, so at night, when she was fast asleep, he placed her next to his son Sasuke, who had her wrapped around his waist with his head resting on his chest. The user of the ice element tried to leave without waking Lucia, but he woke up, blushed strongly when he saw that he had her wrapped around his waist. Zabuza brat Uchiha, leave yourself for dead. The swordsman entered Sasuke's room, smashing the door with a kick. Seeing how the Uchiha was hugging his daughter by the waist, his little girl had slept with that Uchiha, and like every good overprotective father, was going to kill Sasuke. Sasuke, Zabuza, put the sword down, we can talk about this. I speak nervously, seeing the fog demon surrounded by a terrible dark aura and with his sword ready to kill him. Zabuza will talk when you're dead. The black-haired man climbed out of the window to flee from the furious swordsman, let out a long sigh, went to his room, changed and went down to breakfast. Mikoto, poor Sasuke, I hope he can survive the wrath of Zabuza. The older Uchiha thought her plans were not perfect. Zabuza, like every good father, wanted the best for his daughter, and as expected, he was overprotective. He wasn't going to let his daughter date a guy. Mikoto was not going to intervene in the way of Zabuza, as it was a test that had to be overcome. If he really loved Aku, he should show Zabuza that he was worthy to be her daughter's boyfriend. Naruto, good morning, Mom. I greet the blue Oji sitting at the table, starting to eat his mother's breakfast. Aku, Mikoto, then we'll have to talk seriously. She was no fool, she knew that the matriarch of the Uchiha clan. He was trying to unite him with his son. Sasuke's presence didn't bother him at all. What bothered him was Mikoto's attitude. She would have Zabuza kill Sasuke. After having breakfast, they went to the academy to take the Chunin exams. And Vicky, very well worms and understand the exam has just started, ordered the torture expert. Everyone sat in their respective seats separated from their teammates. Asuke used his Sharingan to copy the cousins, and Gasu Yakugan Sakura was smart, so he used his intelligence to answer the questions. Mikoto had forced Naruto to study since he was little. Thanks to that, he knew how to answer the questions. The Iga cousins used their Yakugan to copy roll, and Tenten communicated through the Kiba Morse code. He was communicating with Akamaru. Shino used his insects to copy the sound ninjas. They used their special ability, which was to hear the algorithms of the pencils, writing the exam. This meant that they were not discovered. Gara used her Eye of Sand to copy Kankuro, his puppet in disguise, that then passed Tamari a chop to well since childhood. Zabuza had taught him everything he should know about the shinobi world, so it was easy for him to respond to the questions. Shikamaru used his shadow possession jutsu to do the exam for his peers, and Vicky was quite happy with the Jennings. They had proven that they were worthy of being Chunins in the shinobi world. difficult decisions. Information was crucial in life and death missions, so it was stupid to throw yourself into the wolf's mouth without having a plan. And without knowing what to do. That's why stealing the information on a mission could save you and your companions from certain death. And Vicky, you're all approved. The N44 training camp, or better known as the Forest of Death, was the most dangerous place in Konoha. It was full of animals and very dangerous creatures. They were large animals. The fact is that it is the perfect place to do the second phase of the exams. Chunin was a very dangerous place. They would have to find a way to survive. It was the perfect place to take these exams. Anko, okay, worms, listen up, this is the N44 training camp, or better known as the Forest of Death. There are 2 scrolls, one of heaven and earth. They have 3 days to survive, get the 2 scrolls, and go to one of the 3 towers in the Forest of Death. If someone opens a roll before arriving, they will be disqualified. And remember, thanks to the paper you signed, I'm not responsible for your deaths. He said with the greatest calmness in the world. The horn sounded, and all the Jennings entered the Forest of Death with a different role. Naruto's team had the Sky Scroll, and as always, a crow was watching them, as he had a bad feeling. Kibi Naruto? He called the Viju to his Jinchurik, and the blue Oji was extra. The year you will call him. Naruto, what do you want, Kibi? Asked the blonde staring at his tenant. Kibi, Orochimaru is in Konoha. Naruto had heard about Orochimaru, the inner saint who betrayed Konoha, became obsessed by power and experiments, becoming one of the most dangerous criminals in Konoha. Naruto, what is Orochimaru doing in Konoha? Kibito, what do you think he's looking for? I can't possibly be looking for you or the Sharingan. I've seen a lot of people obsessed about getting my power or the power of the Ukiyas. And I guess since he can't get your mother's eyes or Itami's, he'll look for Sasuke since he's the easiest prey. He explained the Viju in a way that Naruto could understand. He could be an idiot sometimes. Naruto, thanks Kibi. Why are you telling me that? Kibi, I have some unfinished business. Aku, what are you thinking, Naruto? Naruto, everyone take cover now. His companions did not understand why, but they saw a large giant snake coming towards them, so they covered themselves. And Naruto landed on the snake's head to drive his katana into its head, killing it. Naruto, everyone is fine. Sakura, yes, thanks to you we are. Sasuke, what the hell was that? Kuku woman, I see you noticed my presence, Naruto-kun. Raven thought of Itami. Disgusting pedophile, how dare you call him Naruto-kun? Only I have that right. Sasuke, his chakra is evil. Who? Damn it is. Naruto Sasuke, this guy is very strong, I can't stand alone against him. Sasuke, there's no way I'm leaving you with all the fun. Aku, we are a team, I will not let you do it alone. Sakura, I'll help you too. Kuku woman, this is going to be fun. Let's see what they are capable of doing. Thought the Sannin in disguise to see how Sasuke activated his mature Yashiringen next to Naruto. He ran towards him, giving them a combined attack. The Sannin put his arms in X, receiving the attack of both rivals, which made him retreat. He felt as if the place was starting to get cold little by little. He was starting to freeze. Orochimaru watched as a dark blue aura surrounded Aku. She was creating all that cold on her hands. Ice spikes began to be created, and he threw them at Orochimaru in disguise. While the Aruno was throwing Kuna and shurikens, the disguised Sannin easily dodged them to hit both rivals hard, sending them backwards. Sasuke fire style, big fireball. Naruto wind style, wind swirl. Aku ice style, freezing rain. The whirlpool, the wind combined with the fireball, creating a huge whirlpool of fire that hit the disguised Sannin hard. While small sharp ice needles fell on the treacherous Sannin, sticking into his body. Orochimaru kuku, congratulations, you destroyed my costume, said the Sannin covered in a green liquid. To further increase his power. Disappear to reappear in front of Naruto, to give him a hard punch in the stomach. To be exact on the seal, his fingers were covered with chakra. The blue Oji was sending against a tree, leaving him unconscious. The angry Uchiha ran towards the Sannin, starting a fairly even taijutsu fight little by little. He was losing ground. Orochimaru had to end this quickly. I increase his chakra to start hitting Lucci the black movie harder. I think multiple ice spears that he threw at the Sannin. This one dodged them with ease. He bit Sasuke's neck, leaving a strange mark on his neck, and then knocked Aku and Sakura unconscious, and then disappeared without a trace. After Orochimaru's appearance, Sasuke and Naruto were unconscious. The Kibi was upset. He could no longer give chakra to his Hinkariki because of Orochimaru, while Sasuke had the curse mark. After spending a day unconscious, they had some problems with some sound ninjas. Sasuke, when he saw Aku hurt, broke Saku's arm, and then they retreated the end. With the role of the Sound Ninjas, they continued advancing, until they reached one of the towers of the Forest of Death, where some preliminary combats would be made. Sasuke Uchiha vs Yora. The Uchiha jumped down to the stadium, wishing to end the fight as quickly as possible. He ran towards Yoroi, giving him a strong kick on the chin, causing him to rise up to appear behind. Suya giving him a kicking combo, making her rise higher to appear above him, giving him a hard kick in the face. Sasuke bursts out of lions. Sasuke's strong kick sent Yoro and to the ground, creating a huge crater, leaving him badly injured and unconscious. Aku, well done Sasuke. The Black Movie said with a smile, blushing slightly at Sasuke. The attack put a hand on his shoulder. Kakashi Sasuke, we have one thing to do, see you later, said the Scarecrow with an eye smile, disappearing in a tornado of leaves with Sasuke. Next match, Sakura Aruno vs. and not Yamanaka. A battle of useless between old friends and a recovered friendship. Next match, Akuyuki vs. Kankuro. The Black Movie calmly went down to the stadium and Kankuro. The battle also began. Aku threw needles in Kankuro bag. They got stuck into him. He threw more needles into Kankuro's backpack bag, who was actually the real Kankuro. The other one was a puppet. Shino Aburame vs. Zaku of Sound. The Sound Ninja had a broken arm, but he was still able to continue. He threw a powerful sound attack on the Burami. This disappeared into insects, so that insects will devour the chakra system of the Sound Ninja, killing him. Tamari no Sabaku vs. and Mataiki. It was an impressive battle. The Blue Movie proved that she was not that weak shy girl. He showed great strength when facing the Desert Blonde. Mari used her fan to launch powerful wind attacks, and Nada used short and medium range attacks. He ran to the blonde to block her chakra points. After a great and impressive battle between Kunoichis and Nada, Iga was the winner. Awesome Crow, the Iga is pretty strong. It looks like Anasama trained him well. The Naruto Kun battle is about to begin, thought a Black Crow who was at the head of the third gate watching the preliminary matches. Next fight, Naruto Uzumaki vs. Neijiriga. Inada's cousin was talking nonsense, that fate had chosen him as the winner of this match, that a loser. As he could not win the Uzumaki, he ignored him, and created several shadow clones that ran towards the prodigy Iga. This one with his activated Yakugan eliminated them, but golden chains emerged from the ground, grabbed the Iga, stamping him against the stadium, leaving him unconscious. Kiba and Nuzuka vs. Tenten. The Inuzuka had problems, but in the end he won. Shikamaru Nara vs. Kintsuchi. It was an impressive battle where the Nara showed the great intelligence he possessed by making a strategy to win over the Black Movie of the Sound. Gaara no Subaku vs. Rogel. It was a super epic battle, a Jinkariki against a user of Taijutsu, the power of the arena. Against the power of the effort, he possessed the 8 internal doors, so by opening 5 of the 8 internal doors, he gave Gaara a great beating, but unfortunately due to the condition of Hinkariki, Gaara Subaku was the winner. The next matches are Sasuke Uchiha vs. Shino Aburame, Akuyuki vs. Kiba and Nuzuka, and Mataiki vs. Shikamaru Nara. And finally, and the most epic match of all, Naruto Uzumaki vs. Gaara no Subaku. Naruto Itami, I've made you miss what you'll be doing right now, he thought with sadness, the blonde walking with his head down through the village. As much as he tried not to think about Itami was useless. And he tried to forget the Uchiha, but he tried harder, he couldn't, he refused to do it, he couldn't forget Itami Uchiha. His smile, his way of being, he couldn't get her out of his head, and that caused him a terrible pain in his heart. It hurt him to know that the person he loved the most was one of the most wanted criminals in the world. Shinobi maybe just played with his feelings, he was just being manipulated. Was she pretending to just love him? The kiss and everything they lived through together was just a cruel lie. Doubts gnawed at him, painful as it was, he would do anything to find out the truth about the Uchiha massacre. Hehe. Hehe. Some perverted laughter took him out of his thoughts to see an old white-haired man with red marks on his face, spying in the hot springs. That guy seemed familiar to him. Naruto, hey pervert. The Uzumaki called. The old man turned to see the blue Oji. Fixedly knew him of something, but did not know of. What do you want, kid? Don't you see I'm busy, he said, somewhat annoyed at seeing a brat interrupt his beautiful research. Naruto, this guy sounds familiar to me. That's Jiraiya, one of the 3 legendary Sanins of Konoha. Please, Jiraiya-sama, accept me as your student. The blonde was in front of one of the 3 legendary Sanins of Konoha, and the most powerful of all was master of the 4th Oga, which his greatest hero. If he wanted to become stronger so that he could bring Itami back, he should train harder. Being under the tutelage of one of the 3 legendary Sanins would make him stronger. Jiraiya saw his. To the blonde, then something clicked in his mind. He was Minato's son. His former student looked so much like the 4th Oga that the Sanin smiled. Jiraiya, I see that you admire me a lot, boy. Naruto, you're kidding me. How can I admire a pervert like you? The legendary Sanin became depressed. It had been done. Too many illusions with his godson. Naruto, you are someone strong, please train me. The Sanin, despite not being respected by his student, agreed to be his teacher to fix the mistake he made in his past. Jiraiya, boy, come here. The white guy noticed that there were problems in Naruto's chakra control. If the information was correct and Orochimaru was in Konoha, he will have already done something to Naruto's seal. He saw that his seal had extra protections, so he took them off. Naruto, what is this pervert? He asked, seeing a big roll that had Jiraiya spread out on the floor. Jiraiya, the contract of invocation of the toads. The blue-eyed one made a signature with his blood and started trying to summon a toad, but only a tadpole came out. Mikoto Jiraiya called a sweet voice that made her shudder. He turns his head slowly to see Mikoto Uchiha with a sweet smile. He saw the blonde trying to summon a frog and went away to talk to Mikoto. Mikoto, what did you come back for, Jiraiya? I coldly asked the Uchiha. He was supposed to be Naruto's godfather. He should have taken care of him. Jiraiya, it's obvious, I came to take care of my godson. Mikoto, after 14 years, you decide to take care of Kushina and Minato's son. The Sanin knew that Mikoto was someone difficult to convince. Jiraiya, okay, if I'm sorry for not taking care of Naruto, but I have a good reason why I came back. Mikoto, what's the reason? Jiraiya, there is a criminal organization called Akatsuki that seeks to capture the Jinchurikis. The motives are unknown. I spent all this time outside the village to investigate said organization, and what I found out is that there are 10 S-rank criminals. I have a spy involved in that organization who passes me information about Akatsuki. Serious, said the Sanin. Mikoto was surprised. A criminal organization looking for Naruto to take the Kibi. I wasn't going to allow it. Mikoto, and who is that report? Jira Law. Jira Law, I can't tell you, Mikoto. He said seriously. He promised Itami and Konan that he would not tell anyone that they were his informants. He saw a big red toad, not happy at all. Gamabunta Jira Law, where are you? Shouted the toad chief, upset in his head. He is. Naruto holding on to the head of the big toad, the San in sigh of exhaustion. Jiraiya, you had to summon Gamabunta. The final fights had come in that month. Jiraiya taught him the Rasengan and the Irasen no Jutsu star techniques of Minato Namikaze, his father. With the consent of Mikoto Uchiha, of course, which he could not do. His beautiful research, because Mikoto Uchiha was keeping an eye on him so that he doesn't turn Naruto into a Jiraiya pervert. He had one thing for sure with that woman behind him. I couldn't do your beautiful research. Their Icha paradise would be a little delayed. I would have to explain to the publisher the delay while Mikoto was. If he were in Konoha, he wouldn't be able to do his research in peace. He had received information that Orochimaru was in Konoha and was planning to make an invasion with Suna's help. And Otto was at Irasen's side, waiting with Mikoto for the invasion to start and break Orochimaru's mother. First match. Sasuke Uchiha versus Shino Aburame. They both went down to the stadium. The Aburame knew he was in trouble. The Uchiha used fire jutsus to burn his insects, so he only had to use his taijutsu. The Uchiha in that area was better than the Aburame, ended up winning easily to the Aburame. Next combat, to Kuyuki versus Kiba, and Nuzuka the ice user went down to the stadium with tranquility in that month. Abusa had trained his daughter in a hellish way. He loved her very much, but he couldn't allow her to be someone weak. That his daughter had to be strong enough to overcome Mikoto's son, and the blue Oji. Kiba G, this will be easy. The Inuzuka said arrogantly. The fight started. The Inuzuka went on the attack. The black Peli created an ice mirror in front of her, blocking the Inuzuka's attack plus ice mirror. They surrounded the Inuzuka, forming an ice dome, made of ice mirrors. The image of Aku appeared on all the mirrors. He carried needles in bowls in his hand. And he threw them to Inuzuka, who deflected all the needles into possible bowls. Aku was just playing with him. It was not worth using all his power with the Kiba. He was starting to use his Fang Jutsu combined with the intention of destroying the ice mirrors. He was like that for 10 minutes. Kiba was tired and Aku had not spent even. And a little bit of his chakra. Aku, how pathetic. He threw a bunch of needles in bowls that stuck in the Inuzuka, especially in Kiba's manhood, leaving him without offspring. Reader is F********* ing Thumbi. The black movie undid the jutsu and went to the stands disappointed. No one else, apart from Naruto and Sasuke, gave him fun inherited from his side. He adopted his excitement for combat. Zabuza, well done, my child. the swordsman said proudly, seeing how the badly wounded man who was going to the infirmary was being taken away. He didn't like the Inuzuka. He looked at his daughter a lot. Luckily, he no longer has what makes him a man. Aqua was pathetic. I expected more from the heir of the Inuzuka clan, but he was just a weakling. The user of the ice element said coldly. Honestly, he didn't like the Inuzuka. Next match, Shikamaru Nara versus Tamari no Subaku. The fight surprised many. Shikamaru was a sloth, but at the time of battle, he was someone very intelligent. You see, the Tamari combat was not someone special. Stupid knew that the Nara was someone very intelligent, even though he is a slacker during the battle. Shikamaru kept himself in the shadows, planning the ways to use the shadow possession jutsu to trap Tamari. But every time the desert blonde was almost close, she jumped back attacking him with wind jutsus. As the battle progressed, the desert blonde was losing ground. The Nara eventually managed to defeat him. Last match, Naruto Uzumaki vs Gaara no Subaku. Both Kinkarikis came down to the stadium. The combat began. The Gaara sand attacked the blue Oji. This jumped up, avoiding the sand, but Gaara sand appeared. Behind him, hitting him, sending him to the ground. The blonde disappeared in smoke to appear under the ground with the intention of hitting Gaara, but his sand protected him. The Uzumaki jumped back. Naruto Jutsu Multi-Shadow Clones. The Uzumaki created 20 shadow clones that ran towards the red-haired Hinkariki. His arena attacked the clones, making them disappear so that the blonde appears in front of him with a Rasengan. His sand blocked it. Golden chains, the Kenga Keek, and of the Uzumaki clan. Dinatima chains tied the red-haired Jinkariki, immobilizing him. His sand became totally useless. The blue Oji made a hand position and put his hand on the forehead of the red-haired man, to be exact, on his seal reinforcing it. He fell unconscious to the ground. The explosion started to be heard. The invasion had begun. The invasion of Konoha had passed, and Luz and Sarutobi had not died, thanks to the fact that his student Hiraya and Mikoto Uchiha were there to help the two Ogaks to revive. They were nothing to them since they didn't have much power. If they were at the full capacity of their power, Orochimaru would not be able to control them. The village was recovering from the invasion suffered by Suna, and Otonaruto used his shadow clones to help in the reconstruction of Kanawaku. He used his ice clones that helped the clones of Naruto Zabuza, and the other Jounins didn't waste time either. They helped a lot in the reconstruction of Konoha. The Land of Waves was indebted to Naruto, so Tezuna and more builders went to Konoha to help in the reconstruction of the village. Mikoto, very well that you want and more, it is worth it to you that it is important. Because I am not able to stand some vegetarios like you. The Uchiha clan matriarch spat out the words coldly, looking with her Sharingan at the two council elders. The elders had to be careful what they said. Mikoto was unpredictable. There was no telling how he was going to react. Amura Mikoto, we want you to be the fifth Ogak. He said the old one would be Mikoto. She couldn't help but let out a laugh. Ogak. Yeah, of course, to keep her in check, so she can't take care of Naruto and Sasuke, she wasn't that stupid. Mikoto, ha 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 ha, I like that. I'm not stupid enough to accept the position. If they think that they can make me like Ogak so that I can't take care of my children, you are very mistaken. Omura Irizen is weak. Hirai has no longer accepted the position. You are our only option, Mikoto. The old man spoke, looking seriously at the Uchiha who was thinking. Mikoto Tsunade Sen, who is the best choice. I speak seriously, the Uchiha without deactivating her Danjutsu Tsunade Senhu, one of the 3 legendary Sanins of Konoha. And the best medical ninja in the world, was known for her incredible superhuman strength, for her great skills in ninjutsu. Doctor, and most of all she was known as the legendary loser. She had very bad luck at gambling, that's why she was known as the legendary loser, any betting shop. He would be very lucky to have Tsunade in his local. She was like the second Oga who wouldn't take no for an answer. It was the best option. After Hiraya and Mikoto, they both took care of the Jinkariki of the Kibi. Mikoto raised him from the age of 6. And Hiraya had just arrived at the village, they could not hold the Sannin any longer. Now it was the master of the blonde named Naruto Uzumaki, the Jinkariki of the Kibi. Who would teach him how to master the power of the Kibi? Amura, you are right, Mikoto. Thank you for your time. We'll send Hiraya-sama to get Tsunade. Mikoto, next time I won't be so nice to you. The blue Oji was at his favorite ramen joint, and the only one in all of Konoha, that no one knows how he survived Orochimaru's invasion. The blonde guy was eating ramen very happy after working hard to restore the village. Jiraiya, you were here. The impervious saint entered the ramen shop and looked at his beloved student with a smile. He had to find his old companion Tsunade Senju Asanin, just as he would teach a technique to Logia Zaluna, who created the 4th Oga. That Minato Namikaze, Naruto's father. Naruto, what do you want, pervert? Hirai, we'll go find a woman. Naruto, a woman. No thanks to knowing what you're looking for. Jiraiya, that woman is going to be the 5th Ogak, and on the way, I will teach you a powerful technique. One thing was clear to her. The elders of the council wanted to put Mikoto as a 5th Ogak. But she was not interested in the position, since she took care of him and Sasuke. Apart from training, I don't know about you. But someone like Mikoto shouldn't. To be weak. To be much stronger, she was now the most powerful kunoichi in the village. She was waiting for the return of Tsunade Senju to return to the shinobi program. She knew that Tsunade Senju, her former teacher, was like the second Oga, that Irizen was old and weak. Tsunade would have to take her place. Naruto, okay, let's go find him. That woman, aren't you glad to get back to your boyfriend? Asked a woman who was wearing a black cape with red clouds. She was wearing a straw hat with a rattle hanging from the hat. Just like her female companion. This one was making fun of her best friend, who luckily couldn't see her slight blush, which was covered. For the straw hat. Don't be silly, Conan, he's not my boyfriend. Said the other woman monotonously, hiding her blush with the straw hat. Conan, but you like him, admit it, and Tammy. She continued the blue movie, annoying her best friend. Sometimes he wished to use his Amaterasu and burn her alive so that he would stop bothering her, and Tammy Uchiha, an S-rank renegade. A cold and unsentimental kunoichi, a member of the most dangerous criminal organization in the world, in love with. Naruto Uzumaki, the Hinkariki of the Kibi, a boy of only 13, she was 20, no one could know. And Tammy, shut up, or I swear he burned you with the Amaterasu. He threatened the Uchiha to the blue movie. She continued to make fun of the black movie, ignoring his threats. Conan, well, I have the proofs I want in your diary. I wonder what they will say if you like someone 6 years younger than you. He said with an amused smile, while holding a small black-colored journal in his right hand. Which said, property of Itami Uchiha, not to touch you I kill with my Amaterasu. Itami, now if you give yourself up for dead. Molesta activated her Sharingan mantle, and chased after Conan with clear intentions of killing her with her raised katana. While the blue movie laughed. Naruto, I'm bored, take it easy. He was lying on the bed with his arms over his head. His perverted teacher was looking for information about Tsunade Senju. The white movie gave him a role with a rank wind techniques, and that someone knocked on the door. Naruto, I'm coming. He stood up and went to the door to open it. When he opened it, he froze and his face turned redder than a tomato. Naruto, Itami. The blonde asked, surprising. She was Itami Uchiha, the person I loved the most, and she was much more beautiful than 7 years. The blue Oji couldn't say anything. He was in shock watching the Uchiha, without being able to say anything. Conan had a funny smile on his face. Poor Jinkariki's reaction was very funny. None of the three said anything. Itami, Naruto. Whispered the Uchiha, seeing the blue-eyed Jinkariki. He had become more handsome during those 7 years he was out of the village. Conan, well, stop Tortoros. Let's talk inside, right, Jiraiya-sensei? Said the blue movie, noticing the presence of the impervious saint. Naruto, you know them, pervert. Jiraiya are my Akazuki spies. He said, leaving Naruto in shock. They entered inside the apartment, where Jiraiya created a barrier around the apartment. And Tammy and Conan told him everything they knew about Akazuki. Jiraiya will leave you two alone for a moment. She disappeared with Conan from the apartment, leaving the blonde one with the oldest one in the apartment. Naruto and Tammy. The Uchiha laid the blonde down on the bed, placing herself on top of him. Naruto was redder than a tomato. The Uchiha had a slight blush on her face. The Uchiha could not miss the opportunity. He put his lips close to the Jinkarikis. Joining them in a kiss, the Jinkariki opened his eyes, very blushing. Once out of shock, he reciprocated the kiss. It was an inexperienced kiss, slow and full of passion. There minutes later, they parted blushing. Itami, I love you, Naruto Uzumaki. Said the Akazuki, leaving the Jinkariki surprised. I couldn't believe the person who loved one of the most dangerous criminals in the world the most, reciprocated her feelings. I couldn't be happier. Naruto. I love you to Itami-chan, said the blushing blonde. The Uchiha smiled. The blushing Jinkariki was very adorable, God. They felt like raping him right there. To his misfortune, he couldn't do it. Itami would make you mine right now, but I can't do it, but if I can mark you so that the bitches I know approach, you know that you have an owner. The Uzumaki moaned in pain as he felt Itami's teeth on his neck, leaving a mark on his neck. He kissed the blue Oji again and parted ways. Itami, well, Naruto, it's time for you to know the truth. Said the black movie, separating from her now boyfriend, sitting on the other bed, staying opposite Naruto, activated her Sharingan mantle. Showing the blonde the whole truth of the massacre of the Uchiha clan. Naruto touched the mark on his neck to the biju. He thought it was funny not to heal that mark that the Uchiha left on his neck. And he hated everyone. The Uchihas, except for a few, like Mikoto Uchiha and Itami Uchiha, saw why he committed the Uchiha massacre. She earned his respect, And that was a lot that a human, and Mora Ucha will earn the respect of the most powerful beej of the 9. It was a lot to say the blue-eyed was trying to hide the mark on his neck, although his perverted master. I kept bugging him about it. We are very proud of your student. He already had a girlfriend before him, and one 6 years older than him, telling that she is one of the best kunoichi in the world, and one of his spies in Akazuki. Hooray, we already found her a brat? The blue Oji fixed his gaze on a local. You could see the woman in her. Woman described by her perverted master, a beautiful blonde with 2 pigtails, amber eyes, a purple diamond seal, was on her forehead. The woman, despite being 55 years old, appeared to be young, the legs, breasts of 106 centimeters. She was wearing a sleeveless gray blouse with black lines, she was wearing long black pants, she was wearing pointed heels. Negroes, she was wearing a light green jacket on her back, there was the symbol of the Senju clan at her side. There was her faithful assistant Shizune, the niece of her late boyfriend. Danzunade took pity on the poor girl. Their lives have been similar. She lost her parents since she was just a child, leaving only Dan her uncle, the only thing she had left. When she found out he died in the war, she was very devastated. Tsunade understood the pain of the black movie, so he took her as his student, teaching her everything she knows little by little. He was seeing her as his own daughter. Shizune was a beautiful 28-year-old woman, hair short black, deep black eyes, like a beautiful black kimono with white lines. He had the typical black ninja sandals on his arms. There was a little pink pig named Taunton. Suna from Jiraiya, what do you want? Asked the blonde, making a grimace when she saw one of her fellow Sanins. She was upset. First she met the bastard from Orochimaru, then the pervert. Shizune, excuse me, Jiraiya-sama, who is the one accompanying you? The black movie asked curiously, looking at the blue Oji with curiosity. Naruto, I'm Naruto Uzumaki, nice to meet you, date Valo. Exclaimed the blonde with his usual joy. Lawsen could not help smiling at the resemblance of the blue Y to the 4th Ogak. Tsunade yo Ogak. The Senju burst out laughing, angering Uzumaki, who was believed to be making fun of the Ogaks. Jiraiya Konoha needs you, Tsunade, the white-haired man said seriously, trying to convince his partner San at no. He could be Ogak, he had to take care of the Jinchuriki, and Mikoto Uchiha didn't want to be Ogak. Tsunade, let's do something. If that brat manages to hit me, I'll be the Ogak. The impervious Saint Sai hoped that his student could give him a blow to be the Ogak. Shizune is sure of this, Tsunade-sama. Tsunade, calm down, Shizune, I know what I'm doing, and if you manage to hit me too, I'll give you my necklace that belonged to the first Geik. The combat began. The blonde shot out towards the woman with the intention of hitting her, but the Senju gave him a strong blow in the stomach, making the blonde disappear in smoke so that the blonde appears before her at great speed, surprising her by his speed, but she kicked him that threw him back. He spat out saliva, created 5 shadow clones that rushed towards the Senju. This one hit the ground hard, lifting a rock, and then throwing it at the blue Oji, sending him backwards. The Uzumaki created in his hand an S. Blue sphere, the Senju was surprised. The blonde man lunged at her. This one was going to dodge it, but golden chains immobilized her, receiving the Rasengan full, sending her back. Tsunade, you win, brat, he said, putting the collar of the first Gak on his neck. A deal was a deal. She would return to Konoha to be the Ogak. Tsunade Senju, the 5th Oga who had returned to Konoha thanks to Naruto Uzumaki, the Hinkariki of the Kibi, and Mikoto Uchiha's adopted son along the way. Naruto told them many things about how the village had changed in the years she was away from Konoha. He was quite happy to know that one of his students was alive. Yes, gentlemen. Tsunade Senju had trained the 3 most powerful kunoichi in Konoha, Kushina Uzumaki, Konoha's Blood Havana, and the former Hinchuriki of the Kibiana Iga, the Angel of Death. If they were unlucky enough to run into her, they would die. And finally, Mikoto Uchiha, the Black Fire Phoenix, the 3 most powerful clans of Konoha, united into one. The most powerful team of kunoichi in history. Kushina, with her knowledge of the Uzumaki clan and her incredible chakra reserves. Anna with her Yakugan and her incredible fighting style, never seen in the Iga clan, and Mikoto Uchiha, with her incredible handling of the eternal Montekyo Sharingan, and above all her magnificent control with the Amaterasu, hence his name, the strongest team of Konoha in 2nd place, his husbands by the Sannin of the Toads. Jiraiya Minato Namikaze, the Yellow Flash of Konoha, and So Iga the Wolf of the Iga clan, and Fugakuchiya the Demon of the. They share the 2nd most powerful team that Konoha had. Mikoto, I'm glad to see you again, Tsunade-sensei, said the black movie with happiness to see her sensei back to Konoha. Mikoto. He had the typical Jounin suit and his ninja band on his head. She had already become a shinobi again, and with her training, she managed to surpass her teacher. Tsunade was proud of how strong her student became. Tsunade, it's nice to see you again too, Mikoto. This is Shizune, Dan's niece. Shizune, nice to meet you, Mikoto. Mikoto, not the taste is mine. Tsunade, are you sure you don't want your old position as Ambu? Mikoto was once the leader of an Ambu squad formed by Yukiyas. Among them was the young prodigy Shisui Uchiha, but being pregnant with Itami, she left the position of Ambu squad leader to take care of her family and clan. The Uchihas were mostly macho, and for them that a woman was the leader of the clan was unacceptable. He was able to beat them up and show them who he was, but I prefer to do something much better, control the Uchiha clan through his. Her husband Fugaku held the position of clan leader, while Mikoto pulled the strings from the shadows. Mikoto, I don't have to take care of my kids. Ambo takes up a lot of my time, so I prefer to be a hounen. It takes up less time, and I can take care of my kids more. Tsunade, I see. You're planning to take care of a genin team. Mikoto, if I have already signed 3 Konohamaru, Sarutobi to Nobiliga, and Mobi. Konohamaru was the grandson of Irizen Sarutobi. He got along very well with Naruto. He saw Naruto as an older brother. An example to follow saw how Naruto trained Konohamaru in his free time. She was a little surprised to see him. Strong that Konohamaru became under the supervision of Naruto, and Mata was already strong thanks to his student Kurena. And Yuki, the sensei of Imata. Anabi had potential, it would be a waste if that potential was not exploited, and Mogi, Konohamaru's best friend, had determination, the courage and all the necessary requirements to be a great Kuno. Ichi is like Uden and Konohamaru were trained by Naruto, who in his spare time trained them. Tsunade, I see, I have a mission for you to kill the elders of the Iga clan. They are responsible for Anna's death. Mikoto, I will do it with pleasure. He disappeared in black flames the next day in the Iga clan. The corpses of the elders appeared in the center of the clan, and everyone was massacred in horrible ways thanks to Mikoto Uchiha. She loved Anna like a sister, and being killed made her very angry, causing a massacre that no one will ever be able to forget. Hiraya Naruto, we're going on a training trip for 3 years. Naruto, I see, I'll go say goodbye to mother, and get my things ready for the training trip. It had already been 3 years since Naruto Uzumaki had gone on a training trip for 3 years. At that time a lot had happened on the streets of Konoha. I could see a beautiful black movie. She was wearing a hounen suit, that beautiful young lady. Young was Akuyuki, daughter of one of the 7 swordsmen of the mist. And Sasuke Uchiha's current partner was wearing his ninja band on his head. He was walking home, he had returned from a rank mission. And now he wanted to rest in those 3 years, he had become much stronger, he did not want to be weak or any burden to others. Mikoto was the devil himself, she was much worse than the Oga. That his workouts were a real hell. They didn't compare to the Sanin's workouts in those 3 years. He physically and mentally tortured her, Sasuke, Zabuza and their genes, but thanks to that they were much stronger. And they were very clear about what he was like. It was the shinobi world, and how cruel it could be. We're finally back. A person shouted from a pole. He had blonde hair, blue eyes, 3 marks on his cheeks, giving him a fox-like appearance. He was wearing an orange jacket with black, orange pants, long, blue sandals. Girl, he was carrying a ninja bag on his back. And he was carrying a black katana on his back, a black ninja band, adorned his head. Yes gentlemen, it was Naruto. Uzumaki, the hollow-headed ninja #1 of Konoha. The Yuki stopped when he heard the blonde scream. He recognized it immediately, it was that blonde-haired idiot, to whose it was Naruto. The black movie, the Uzumaki shouted when she saw him jump off the pole, landing in front of Aku. He had to admit, he had become more attractive and taller. Naruto, hi Aku, wow you have changed and firm what I see you are jounin now. Aku, it's been 3 years, it's normal that he has changed. Naruto, I see, I wonder if Sasuke will still be as emo. Aku, Sasuke is still the same as 3 years ago, but with a difference from me and Mikoto-san, is warm and kind. Naruto, with you warm and kind. Aku, right, you don't know, we're a couple. The blonde was in shock, he never imagined that the Tem would have a girlfriend, and one as beautiful as Aku. Let's see, Aku was beautiful. But in that 3 years she was away from Konoha, she became more beautiful, and stronger of that I was sure. Naruto, I'm happy for you, take care. If Tami-chan were here, she would be happy for you too. Hiraya, if you're done talking to Aku, let's go see Tsunade. The pervert went to the Ogak Tower with Naruto to give Tsunade a report on how strong Naruto became in these 3 years. His relationship with the Kibi had advanced a little, but he had not made much progress with the Biju. This allowed him to use 4 tails of his power at the moment, and although Naruto could give quite a fight to the Sannin, without using the power of the Kibi, the Biju was not going to. Allowing him to use more than 4 tails, as using 5 tails of his power, was too dangerous. He was getting out of control and destroying everything in his path. Although his desire was to be free with Akatsuki, hunting his brothers, he could not risk being captured. In addition, there was the girlfriend of his Hinchiriki and Temuchiya. She could undo it. The transformations, she and Mikoto Uchiha, to Yukias who have her respect. Although that did not mean that they were not a hindrance in her plans. Tsunade, wow Naruto, you've grown up quite a bit, you're not that dwarf from 3 years ago anymore. The Senju watched the Hinchiriki. He had become more handsome, taller, and he was sure that it had been done. Very strong, she in those 3 years had become stronger like everyone in the village. Naruto, thank you grandma, you haven't changed at all. The Senju resisted the urge to break Uzumaki's face, but she resisted the urge. Mikoto law Naruchan, wow you have grown up and become very handsome. The Uzumaki turned to where his mother's voice was coming from. He was in the window frame with a jounin suit. And a ninja band on his head. It had been 3 years, and she hadn't changed at all. She was still just as beautiful, and the most desired woman in Konoha. Blonde hugged her tightly, being reciprocated by the Uchiha. Naruto, you don't know how much I wanted to see you again, mother. Mikoto, yes, I missed you too. Well Naruto, since you are back today, you rest. Tomorrow will be your test to see how strong you have become. Naruto, try. Who will I face? He asked, already separated from the black movie. The Senju stared at him. Tsunade, you will face Sasuke Uchiha. Naruto, after going to Ishiraku, Ramen went to training camp number 7 with his hands on your head. Thinking about his 3 years of training, and his beloved Itami. Uchiha arrived at the training camp number 7, where he saw Tsunade Hiraya and Shizune on the frog of a tree. To Kakashi leaning on a tree, reading his beloved Ichika Paradise, to his mother standing near Kakashi, and to Sasuke was surprised. Seeing the change of Lukia, almost did not recognize him. Sasuke, in those 3 years his hair had changed a lot, it got longer, he was wearing long black pants with black ninja sandals. He was wearing a white blouse with his chest discovered and a black katana on his torso. He had the symbol of the Uchiha clan, on his back a purple rope. It surrounded his waist holding his pants. I'm glad to see you, he sees. Naruto, the same I say, I hope you're ready because I'm going to kick your ass with a defiant smile. Sasuke, you're still a stuntman, I'll kick your ass. Mikoto, well, as you already know, there is of that a test to see how strong you have become in those 3 years. Without more to say, start. Thereupon, the 2 rival Bara brothers jumped back, stared at each other for a few seconds to run towards each other. The blonde guy wanted to hit the black-haired guy's face, but he blocked it with his right hand to try to kick the blonde guy. But he blocked it with his forearm. With his other hand, he hit Lucia's stomach, sending him backwards to run towards Sasuke, trying to hit him. But he appeared behind him, giving him a kick that sent him against a tree. The blonde Rubio saw a big fireball coming towards him before it hit him. He disappeared in a yellow flash to appear behind Sasuke, trying to hit him, but the Uchiha had activated his Sharingan. Having foreseen Naruto's movements, bending down to try to knock down Uzumaki. Tsunade, Shizune, and Mikoto were a little bit surprised because Naruto learned the star technique from his father, even the best one. He didn't need Minato's special Kyune to use the Irisin no Jutsu. The Uchiha unsheathed his katana to try to cut Naruto, but Naruto pulled out a Trikyune and blocked Sasuke's katana, kicking him in the stomach. Wizard sending them to there. Enough of the warm-ups, double time to get serious. I raise his chakra more, overcoming the power of the blonde, activate his eternal Sharingan. Naruto, I agree with you, fear his eyes, they turned red with the pupil torn. He took out his katana that had a red handle with an orange edge on it. The handle had the symbol of the Uzumaki clan. His chakra rose higher, matching his power with Sasuke's. Both rivals smiled to run at high speed to the center of the training ground. The metal of their katanas collided with each other, creating powerful shock waves that echoed throughout the Naruto training camp. He appeared on top of Sasuke with the intention of kicking him. The Uchiha grabbed the blonde's leg and stamped him quite hard to the ground, creating a big crater in the ground. To try to stick his katana in his chest, but the Hinchiriki kicked him in the face, sending Sasuke backwards. Sasuke's hand was covered in lightning, creating the Chidori in Naruto's right hand, secret a red Rasengan. Sasuke Chidori. Naruto Rasengan. The two collided their techniques, creating a powerful shockwave, destroying part of the training ground, creating a huge dust cloud. When the smoke disappeared, I could see a space. A purple skeleton that began to form a half-length armor, creating a purple sword and a purple crossbow. While Naruto was covered with a dense red chakra, revealing 4 red tails through Naruto's eyes. They turned white. The aura that Naruto gave off was an evil one. Everyone but Jiraiya was surprised that